Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2 Awakening, where we are about to induct a whole lot of new citizens into our empire, and I think a lot of today's episode is going to be about managing the consequences of that. I don't know, we shouldn't be quite so cocky, because sometimes the assimilation quests are not so easy to do. We've been pretty lucky so far. But let's hope that it continues to be the case. We're making an okay amount of money per turn, but as you probably saw last episode when I moused over the numbers, if we want to win an economic victory, we're going to have to make over 1 million dust. So we need to step it up slightly. 3 digits is not going to cut it. Okay, our population boost has ended. I think we want to re-enable it. Yeah, I think so. We're still growing pretty aggressively. We're still making good use of that happiness buff in at least one system. We've now have access to NP artifacts. Apparently, some planet that we can see discovered that it has that luxury resource. Alright, the capital is producing now just a ridiculous amount of food, a really absurd amount of food. So this would be a good time to start sending citizens all over the place, except that we don't really have that many systems that need to be populated, I think. Well, whatever. We'll find a place to put them all. So this might be a good time to build Dinark University. Obviously, it is the thing you want to put together in a place that has a pretty high population, and at this point, this system has way more people than any other system we own, and actually it has a pretty reasonably, as far as population caps go, what are we looking at here? 19 plus 4 more slots over there, and that's before we research any of the buildings that allow you to crowd your planets even further. This is a pretty good system for this. Sometimes you'll find a system that has 5 habitable planets, and they all have a ton of space on them, but I'm pretty happy with our potential here. Let's go ahead and start the long, difficult process of getting this built. I guess there are still these wonders available. Nobody has bothered to build. This one would not be bad. Okay, let's try to build this. The difference between Dinark University, which is a unique improvement, and the Endless Research Park, which is a wonder, is that there can only be one of these in the entire galaxy. Nobody else will be able to build it if we beat them to it, while Dinark is just a thing that each civilization can build once. I guess we'll work on this. We might be able to get this done. We don't yet have the ability to specialize planets toward industry. When we get that ability, and it's something we're working toward, it might be a good idea for us to quickly specialize all these planets and try to take a turn or two off of this build. Alright, what do we have here? Sudden galactic deflation has led to a market-wide price decrease, which is not super relevant to us. So we already flew down here. Oh, interesting. I think that might be another player that is not the same red as over there. So we're about to meet somebody, or at least we're about to gain knowledge of somebody. We won't necessarily meet them. Once we have vision of them via probe without them having ever had vision of one of our ships or systems, we'll have the option of introducing ourselves, and depending on who they are, we might not do it. It's there's certain people in the galaxy that I don't really want to know where I am. Alright, you guys are waiting to do one more curiosity search. Yeah, I guess we're ready to just move forward here. So to get the nearest on side, we just have to search curiosities until they come over, right? That's why it's important that we actually dig all of these out, even though I believe... Hold on, we'll come back to this. Okay, don't care about that. Even though I believe it is the case, yeah, we have more than enough reputation incoming, but we need to actually get that nearest quest completed, and any one of these anomalies could be the one that does it. Or any one of these curiosities, rather, could be the one that does it. That one was not it. It was, in fact, a Hyperium deposit, which is fine. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn off the auto pop-up on these. Oh, we discovered the planet Vale. From orbit, this planet is visually uninteresting. Silent and undeveloped, it turns beneath the glare of an indifferent star. Hey, don't we all? History and legend claim it is one of the great centers of virtual study, however, and the seat of the subfaction commonly known as the Cabal of Pure Thought. Should these tales be true, the planet would be rich with power generation centers, networks, and a planet-wide infrastructure of superconducting cables. Until there is a way to render these visible, however, the planet merely appears as it is. The Virtual is the name of one of the two factions of the Endless. Their society sort of cracked in half along an ideological line, and they had a big civil war. You see that reference sometimes. The Virtual and the Concrete were the two factions. Where did we find that? We found that way over here. Okay, so it has a pirate base on it, and it's also being watched by the Vaulter colony ship. The Vaulters have a whole special thing going on. So if we were to take over Vale, we would complete this Seek the Unique thing, but I don't know how we would pull that off. We'd have to get down here with our ships, our slow-moving warships, clear out this base, and then convince the Vaulters not to mess with it, and then somehow we would have to ship food to it from all the way over here, and I think that probably is outside of our grasp. Alright, we gain control over Reta 6 because our colony finished. So let's go manage Kochab. How long will it take to build a Temple to the Lost? It would be 7 turns if we... 7 turns or 1.4k. I think we'll just buy this. If we know that we're just going to hand this over to the Academy, just to test that mechanic, I see no reason to spend time developing it, right? That's a pretty cheap move. We can get a quest from the Mavros, and we will. Still giving birth all over the place. Hey, more Remnant.
I am always pleased to have contact with honorable friends.
Wow, this color is terrible to read on this dark background. Seems like he's staying friendly with us, though. I had a real concern that he was going to betray us just for the sake of having somebody to fight with, but maybe that's, maybe he has somebody else to fight. So it looks like we don't have a ton of other stuff going on this turn. Let's resolve this hack. So we got to Cran. Let's just give ourselves some more points. There's no way we're getting in on the contribution thing, right? Let's go for an Overseer. What did we take last time? We took an Overseer. And I mean, Overseer is very good, right? The beam counter thing is a significant boost to a system's effectiveness. But maybe, I guess let's take a Counselor then, just so that we have access to sort of the full range of skills. Or at least let's have them offer us a Counselor. And that means that we have a hack slot open. So we could, at this point, start hacking other players. It might be to our benefit to, like, run a... Let's run an operation from Wasat through to Vaulter territory. The extremes of interference generated by the fields of this ancient endless artifact mean that the node cannot be hacked. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, I think. Let's send out some hack over to Vaulter Town. We'll try to install a backdoor so we can run operations on their stuff more easily. This hack is going to travel down mostly uninhabited territory. Is there a way... I'm trying to remember. I think there was a way to manually draw the hack line, but I can't remember how to do it now. It's like holding control and... I don't know, whatever. This is only bouncing through one node that is actually owned by a faction. I'm hoping that they just won't catch us. If they do catch us, their trace will definitely complete before our hack does. I mean, we could lay down an accelerator to try to... I don't know. That's not going to help that much. Let's see. We do have some options here. Do we have encryption running on Wasat? It looks like we don't. Seems like we probably should, given that it's at one of the edges of our empire. Okay. So we've dealt with all this stuff. Yeah, I'm eager to see. Oh, it was in fact Kochab was where we discovered this kind of luxury. Although I didn't do it, I'm assuming. Oh, interesting. The Word, a colonizer. They were coming to get Kochab from us. Well, we saved them some trouble. But I'm assuming that it was the Academy Force that actually revealed that luxury, since we certainly didn't do it. Alright, Zaterbia was also successfully hacked. Give me those counselor points. Give me those. There we go. You know, sometimes you click the button and it doesn't do anything. Alright, I didn't actually get the quest from the Mavros. Let's fix that. What do you guys want? I'm sorry, Master, but the Mavros were most insistent you hear this message personally. You nod. Go ahead. A grainy holographic begins playing. Interference periodically interrupts the Mavros representative, and his words are rushed, but you understand the gist. A prominent Mavros has been abducted, and they want you to help. With your sophisticated forensics, analysis of the circumstances of the kidnap enables the kidnapper's vessel to be identified and tracked. Now it just needs to be caught. Where is it? It's there? Is that even a place that it can be? Alright, well, why don't we'll send this ship across to here and we'll fire some scouts out there. And I'm inclined to just move some combat ships down in that direction. How long would that take? Yeah, I guess get them moving. They do get to cheat some of the distance because of the wormhole.
The sun god wonders what is on your mind.
Uh-oh. Here it is. Here's the traitor. Here's the traitory nonsense. I told you it was going to happen.
Do not question our ways.
It was a full war declaration. That does catch me off guard a little bit. I have to be honest with you. Okay. I created a scout. I don't remember what I was intending to do with this scout. I mean, I guess we have some stuff that we could still explore. Now that we're properly at war, his scout is going to cause problems for us. We got to get rid of that thing. What on earth was I intending to do with this scout? Maybe I was just going to push through here? Get some information? Maybe. Well, I see a curiosity over here. We may as well go check it out. You know what I might want to do, maybe, is just take some notes. Just make some notes when I make a decision. Alright, well, we're gonna have to develop some more ships then. I'm sure he has real ships. So let's see. Columba is at its population cap. Although, I'm not gonna bother sending anybody out, I think, because we'll have more room for population very shortly. We should probably remember to bump some people off of Jane, but I don't know who. Okay, so we're about to have a population growth. It says it's going to be Nashast, but I'm kind of curious, what if we move the Nashast unit of population out of the system? That should make it, yeah, not possible for that to be Nashast. That's a handy trick there. And Zermasala I'm fine with. That's totally an acceptable growth. So let's send this guy out to... where do we need people? I guess Zorak is a place where we need people. Go here and generate me a bunch of influence. Yeah, we're not really... I guess these ships need to start moving in this direction, probably. It's going to take a while for them to arrive. But we are not really in a good position to fight a war. Hopefully we can figure that out. Okay, allows seeding to the Academy... systems within your sphere of influence that are owned by empires that you are in Cold War or at peace with. So wait, I think I've been misunderstanding this. I thought the system with the temple could be ceded to the Academy, but it's like you use the Academy, or you use the system, or use the temple to grow your sphere of influence out around a thing, and then... Because like if we got the circle here out to encompass Hidel, for example, we would be able to pass that over to the Academy, not pass over my own system. Looks like that is maybe the case, because there's certainly not a button here that will seed the system. Although I don't actually know how we would do this. I am besieged because now there is an Academy ship here with none of my own ships. That ship does it have guns? It does, huh? Can I talk to Isyander about this? Because I would love to not...
Speak quickly.
Yeah, here we go. Nope. No, I cannot. I am not allowed to tell him to, hey, cut that shit out. Well... whatever, I guess. It's not a big deal. So when the system is besieged, you can see here, it does have some effects. It's annoying, more than anything, on a system like this that was not really producing a ton of stuff anyway. So if I still, like, I still think I would like to give Kochab over to the Academy. Oh, let's go back to the... Go back to the Academy view here. Am I allowed to hit contribute? No, there's no option to, like, pick a system or anything. I guess we're going to have to try to get a system that we do not actually control that is within our sphere of influence. Like, we'll have to make the situation actually happen to see what the UI controls for it are. We could do it with some of this stuff down here. We take one of these over and then grow the influence bubble. From Kochab, we will eventually be able to do it with Hidel, but I don't know if we will want to, because Hidel has a lot of habitable planets, and also good resources. Although, the planets here are not great for us. It's a lot of high science worlds. Yeah, okay, eventually, I mean. One thing that is definitely annoying about the Besiege here is that it is reducing the influence output of the tile. Of the system. So that's something we gotta deal with. We should also fix this remnant thing. Alright. So we have some warships, but these are stolen minor faction ships, and they're terrible. We probably have to get on constructing some new stuff pretty quickly here. Columba itself is going to be very hard for them to take over, so we've built up those defenses. Oh right. Well, now that we have a player that we're at war with, perhaps we could mess with his stuff a little bit. Yeah, I'm a little concerned, if I'm being honest. Like, this could turn out to be a problem. It kind of depends on how seriously he takes the war. We may or may not see a huge fleet with some, like, medium-sized warships and stuff show up in the next turn or two. Obviously, if we do, I will be sad. Alright, Ying has a lot of extra food coming in. I mean, we should definitely get level 2 modernization up on every system that we can get it up on. And also, Ying is close enough to the front that I'm going to go ahead and build tractable armaments here. Alright, we can go and have a quick chat with the Pulsos here. Tell me it's a nice easy one. A devastating disease outbreak is currently running rampant through the Pulsos home system. Thousands have already succumbed to the infection, and tens of thousands of more are sick. Every day life is close to a breaking point. Critical industries are scraping by with skeleton crews, medical facilities are overrun with the unwell, and food shortages loom. Civil unrest is likely to soon spill over into outright rebellion. As Pulsos leaders attempt to manage the outbreak, one vital question remains unanswered. Where did the disease originate? Tracing the outbreak back to its inception and identifying Patient Zero could well be the discovery that breaks the plague's stranglehold. While Pulsos scientists establish the identity of Patient Zero, they have asked if you can provide immediate relief for fleeing refugees. I can, in fact. Build 18 or more buildings in your empire within 15 turns. Gotta make a swift building program here to house all these refugees. Well, we are very likely to get that done. We have a lot of systems. We are constantly building stuff all over the galaxy. I feel pretty confident on that one. And we have an election coming up, I guess. Totally spaced on that. Now, one thing that's unfortunate about a war is that almost every action that you can take to defend yourself in a war ushers the militarists into your Senate. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to have the militarists in your Senate. I don't think that they mesh terribly well with the thing we're doing now, but I could definitely see a strategy with this faction where you go militarist early, and then there's I believe there's a law that gives you science from battles. That could be a really good way to take advantage of your technological head start. It's just not really the plan that we're doing right now. Gee, what do you think? There is a curiosity here. I'm not sure if I want to search that for them. I think I'm just gonna send a probe out in one direction, fly in the other direction. So even if they don't take over, so we'll do this here, and sustainable farms definitely makes a certain kind of sense. The planet that we're on being neither hot or being neither temperate nor fertile obviously makes some of these early buildings a lot worse. So I'm not really sure what the best move is here after the drone networks, but like this is a pretty obvious first step. It's kind of wild to me that the wonder we're building in Jane hasn't been built by anybody else yet. It's a pretty solid building, really. Okay, this thing has ended, which is cool. An undercover documentary concerning a makeshift community who live in one of your planet's biggest refuse facilities has become a loaded political issue. Many are scraping a living in the system's dumps, scavenging for recycled materials while setting up their homes in the very same places. Amenities have followed, and these places are now lively, if polluted and dangerous, hubs. Environmental groups demand that action is taken, that industries need to manage their resources better and not fuel these communities. Others suggest going even further and monetizing these places more effectively. Is that for... I don't know if that's the same axis, man. In essence, they advocate greater ties between industry and the refuse sites. Well, I'll be honest with you. I am not wild about minus 30 industry on all of our colonies. Plus 20% approval wouldn't actually get us anywhere. Well, okay, actually it would push a bunch of our systems over to ecstatic. It would push a handful of them over. Minus 10 approval would be pretty bad for us, though. I think we're gonna just endure having an industry malice, because the benefit of keeping our empire as a whole ecstatic and then individual systems getting the boost as well is pretty significant. What else could possibly be happening here on Duel 1? Oh hey, we did the thing. This was the curiosity that convinced the nearest it was safe to join us. So that's cool. Alright, we have a marker of their society. We found that the atmosphere of this planet has a strange psychotropic effect. When inhaled, the sweet vapor seems to allow the subject to see exactly 4 seconds into the future. Perhaps a concentrated dose might do even more. So they simulate that as plus vision range on the fleet. Seems like that would have some pretty huge applications. The sort of thing that society would get maybe completely reorganized around. Alright, I'm going to have the scout come back here, and we're going to fire a probe down toward Dill and see if we can't get some idea what the Hisho are doing over there. We also found some transvine, which is fine. Alright, so we've got the nearest. I've forgotten what their trait was already. What did they just give us? Plus 5 approval on fertile planets. Okay, pretty happy about that, actually. Look at how jazzed all of our people are to be living in our empire. Let's see how long that lasts. Oh, interesting. I had missed that there was even a star path here. I think that ship that we're supposed to be tracking down is headed directly for us. So, you guys probably don't have to do anything here. Let's go back down to Zenus. I know we had more nodes we could explore for the Nashest. Alright, so we're getting some important stuff done. I was flying these guys down toward Virak. I guess we don't actually need them down there anymore, since now I have control of Virak's actual fleet. Oh, and it's late enough in the game that they had upgraded some of their military ships. They have an actual medium-sized ship, so you can see the little radar dish there below its movement that says 3 next to it. Medium ships are much larger and more powerful than smalls, and they take up 3 command points instead of 1. It's a big deal. It's the difference in effectiveness between small and medium ships is incredible. So pretty overjoyed about that one. Get some drone networks and some modernization in here. Also, some colonizing more planets would probably be a good idea, especially the planet that has both of the strategics on it. Actually, let's buy out the drone networks. We'll get this done quickly. Virak is already a thriving community. It's a good addition to the Empire. This is Lumeris, is that right? No, this is the Sophons. Okay, I'm not really that concerned about them. So do I want to just turn these guys around? I guess there's not much use in having ships up here, except that the Academy can't blockade me if my own fleets are orbiting my planet. Although at this point, now that they are already besieging us, I think I would have to run that ship off for the system to return to not besieged status. Alright, our hacks are making some progress here. Oh, and look at that, we accomplished our goal. So our hacking op was discovered by a defensive program on Dill. They're gonna run their thing back. It's gonna take me 4 turns to complete that hack. Man, that's a shame. Their trace totally might take fewer than 4 turns. And I don't have the bandwidth to run an accelerator. Alright, we're gonna have to kill some defensive programs somewhere, I think. Let's kill the encrypt around the capital to run an accelerator on the Dill hack. Alright, that takes a turn off of it. That might be enough time. Hopefully that's enough time for that thing to complete before they cancel it. So we can get a quest from the sisters, and we did this thing. I can only hope that the energy of the new converts eases the fretting of the old believers. Whatever the outcome, I cannot bend. I must show them that I am their leader, and that their role is to walk beside me or to follow, but not to hold the Nakalim back. Yeah, 6 relics is a pretty excellent reward. It seems to me that the willingness of a people to complain about their situation in life is positively correlated to how good it is. Boy, I think that's a pretty ahistorical viewpoint there, man. The grumbling persists, but for the moment I think the risk of open revolt has lessened. But it is important to note that there is a long, long way between lessened and disappeared. How do I get it there? How do I turn those who are fanatically religious and somewhat loyal into fanatically loyal and somewhat religious? My detractors are still numerous, and obviously I understand why they say what they say. But after all, my desire to rebuild our empire could be placed anywhere on the scale from courageous to maniacal, depending on the point of view. That's a little bit more self-aware, I think, than many leaders are. But I am hoping to create a masterstroke to settle once and for all the question of who leads and who follows. For my father was head of the Remembrance Church and carried the title Defender of the Lost. My mother was the Queen, the Sovereign, Defender of the People. I have inherited my mother's title with the role. But if I can take my father's title as well, ruling the church and the Nakalim lords, there would be no force within the Empire that could attempt to waylay or derail me. Never before in our history has a single Nakalim held both roles. It would be a first. On the other hand, no other Nakalim monarch has been awakened by a prophet of the lost from centuries of sleep. I'll take those odds. So reach 40 positive diplomatic pressure with another empire for a relic and a free tech, or up the amount of manpower you can have sitting around as a resource for a tech and a relic. I will say this is easier to do for sure. In order to get that accomplished, all we would have to do is research some technology here in this quadrant. Where do I view? Here we go. You can see our Empire manpower right now is capped at 2.5, so that goal's not accomplishable right now. But we can fix that by just doing a little bit of research up here. It'll add some manpower capacity. And then... Actually, I guess we already unlocked this tier, so we'd have to do this tier, which means 3 more technologies. It's very doable, but it would slow us down. And the funny thing is, actually, the way the tech tree is designed, and I don't know, this seems a little strange to me. Researching in the military quadrant isn't actually the best way to improve your ships. The best way to improve your ships is getting new ship designs over here in Empire development. Like if we could build our Prostration class hunters and our Psalm class coordinators, that would be a massive leap forward in our ability to shoot people to death in outer space. So, I'm inclined to take the other path. Increase diplomatic pressure by increasing your influence through improvements, hero skills, luxury resources. Increasing your influence only increases diplomatic pressure on another player if it causes one of your system influence bubbles to start pushing back one of their system influence bubbles. Right now, we are nowhere near anybody else, so we may not actually even be able to do this. We might have to take this one. And again, I'm nervous about the militarists getting into the Senate because I don't feel that their laws are a good fit for what we're doing, but like I say, we might have to do this one if we want to get this done in any reasonable amount of time. Yeah, sure. The galaxy is no longer about survival, but about domination. That's not really where we're going. War is not immediately necessary if the goal is to defy your enemies. Yeah, all you have to do is make yourself unwarrable, right? I'm definitely going to take some flat industry here. And Moria, I don't remember what we were doing with you. Ah, yes, personal militia. It's fine. It's a fine skill. It is a totally acceptable skill. Oh, a battle. Is that over here? No, where's the battle? Oh, we discovered a very large pirate fleet. Okay, well, the good news is we can retreat. So when you hit the retreat button here, you are attempting to retreat via an unknown star lane. If the destination is unavailable, it will be destroyed. We're just going to go ahead and run. Oh, we did find a relic. So when you retreat, your ship takes a bunch of damage from the enemies as you are bailing out. It will always be an amount of damage that is equal to 60% of your ship's max HP. And then you just sail off down a random connected star lane. It looks like the destination is probably pretty safe. There's a relic there, but we're going to need some serious armaments to claim it. Actually, Interplanetary Transport Network is great here, because there is a strategic deposit on the planet that has all of the people. And honestly, we might want to take Ying 2 pretty soon, because we have a lot of food, so we're gonna experience a pretty serious growth rate, a prodigious growth rate, one might say. Okay, Virak is working on colonizing an additional world as well. And it looks like these guys are not, in fact, coming toward Virak, they are leaving Virak. Wow, that is a slow fleet. We're going to get where you're going next turn. We have quests from all of you. That is... Oh, I see what happened there. I was trying to mouse over this thing, but the top of the screen was too close to it. We did not take their quest. The Sisters of Mercy representative stares at you, the sneer unmistakable. We are a proud race. Our culture forbids us from bowing down to those whose strength is inadequate. You begin to describe your empire's power, its vast industrial bases, shining fleets, disciplined armies, some of those things we don't really have. But the Sisters of Mercy interrupts. Those things are only reflections of an empire's true strength, its people. The Sisters of Mercy looks dismissively at your surrounding retinue. This is a little strange because this faction name is an English phrase that is plural rather than, if this was like the Pulsos looks dismissively, it would read a lot less strangely. Grow your numbers, and we might begin to consider you a worthy master. To reach 30 non-main population. That'll totally happen. We have a ton of population diversity and a lot of food to go around. So to be perfectly honest, we're doing fine on food output right now, or on dust output right now. I know that it would take forever for us to get to 1,000,000 dust, 700 at a time, but we haven't made our major economic breakthroughs. Basically, what I'm saying is, don't worry that our numbers don't seem great. We're still in the we haven't even reached the spin up phase. We're in the pre-spin up part of the thing here. This is going all right. This is going just fine. What we want more than anything right now is just more land, more places to raise people.
The road?
Yeah, we'll be right with you. Generally speaking, I do not like it when things auto pop up at the beginning of the turn. I want to process my my notifications individually. We lost control over the constellation. To who? To the Sophons, who are presumably somewhere on this constellation. It's hard to know where. No. Go through Andromeda. Wait, is it? Let's go through Andromeda to... that's how you do it. You know what? Go through Andromeda and then ask me for orders again. Please do not route yourself through the pirate base. Alright, down here we have some stuff to explore. One of the planets in the system at first appears to be lifeless and poor in resources. A second scan at higher power, however, reveals that the entire planet is a hologram. And in fact, there is something hiding beneath the cleverly constructed camouflage. That's a weird way to keep a secret. Perhaps you can figure out just how the camouflage works. We can just ignore it, or we can pay 100 science spread over 10 turns to get a free thing, which is obviously what we're going to do. I can't imagine why you would ever make the other choice. We found that this planet has some strange fossils, and also some Hyperion. Okay. Alright, and now that I'm done with all my other stuff, what Academy? The roles have been distributed amongst the people who wanted to pay. Sure. Please do not auto-pop. You know, because the game is simultaneous action, sometimes there are things you really need to do at the beginning of your turn, and it just really sucks when you can't. What was it these guys want? Oh, right. Intercept the vessel. I'm working on it. I'm trying so hard. So you need to stay put for a while. I'm pretty surprised, actually, that we have not seen any movement from the Hisha. Like, why did they bother declaring war on me if they weren't going to attack? Not to look a gift horse in the mouth or anything. I mean, it's good for us that they're not attacking. It's just weird. Alright, if we manage to catch the vessel and get the Mavros on our side... Ooh, hey! They just said catch the vessel, right? Like, am I supposed to be killing this? Okay, those guys are no longer chewing on that ship. Hold on a second. Intercept the kidnapper's vessel. Well, I did it. And then he left. We won't get to Virak before he does. So maybe we just stay right here and wait in guard mode. Doesn't feel like the right move. But there's no sense in chasing him back to Virak if he's just going to immediately turn around and be back on the way to Tikal before we get to Virak. Although if he does that, I guess... Yeah, but you know what? I am going to do it. Because if he does that, we can just set up a blockade there and then there's nowhere else for them to go. And we discovered the planet Auriga. This garden planet was used as a biological laboratory by the Concrete Endless, with myriad experiments run on both native and alien life forms. A site of major conflict during the Dust Wars, the environment degraded and the surface of the planet was eventually covered in ice. While there are rumors and expeditions that claim to have uncovered miraculous ruins and the vestiges of great empires, today Auriga is an icy tomb. It would, however, be a really valuable planet to, Oh, no, never mind. I was going to say it'd be a really valuable planet to have, but the thing that's great about this planet is that it has a ton of science, and we don't really benefit from that. It does have pretty good dust output as well, though. And it would give us this thing, which is to say, a free hero, which I care about. Colonize or create an outpost on 2 unique planets. So it would have to be Auriga that we actually put the outpost down on, which means we would need to be able to inhabit an ice-type planet. That technology is a thing we can get, could in fact get pretty quickly. Yeah, you know what? Let's put a priority on that. It'll make us able to see more luxuries. It'll give us better colonization technology. A colonizer that has a probe on it. I guess we don't really care about that. It'll unlock the next tier of science stuff. And then we need a colonizer ship to actually begin the outpost once that is done. So I guess that's your job. You know what, I'm just going to buy this out. We'll let them build the petitioner, and we'll get that done right before we have the tech. That'll work out pretty well, timing-wise. Alright, there's been talk among the more peaceful empires of a galactic trade agreement, a clever arrangement in which all participants would benefit. However, the galaxy's commercial infrastructure is not quite up to the level required for such a project. Collaborate with others to build up the galaxy's economic productivity, so just make more dust. Everybody, together, make more dust. And here on Zorak... Boy, what do we want to do? Zorak's probably not really in any danger. It's a very happy place. We don't have to worry about the approval levels here, so... I guess science building? Got our neural robotics, which is it's kind of a big deal. That industry building that we just gained access to is fairly powerful. Oh, interesting. Wait, can we actually see this node? Why do I have vision of that scout? I wouldn't... You know, you can see here, like, the vision radius of Columba is greater, thanks to the honeycomb scope, but it's still not this great. I'm not really sure why we can see the ship all the way down there. Alright, you need to sit for another turn, and... Yeah, stuff's always happening on the market. We could, I suppose, sell some luxuries, but I don't know what we would... What are we in a hurry to buy out? I guess that would be a nice thing to buy out, since apparently we're going to have a hard time completing it the old-fashioned way. What if I sold... Oh yeah, wow, we have a lot of blossoms. A lot of Eden incense. That's an amount of money that's nice to have. That'll help us get some things accomplished. Did the planet we take over... I mean, we could make some sustainable farms. That's not really... We're already having people born faster than we can find space for them, so this'll help too. And then, what do we want to do with the rest of this money? I guess we don't have anything else that's, like, really urgent. Yeah. This is not enough money to take any significant amount of time off of the wonder that we're building. I guess, you know, what we can do is we can use it to create some industrial zones. Very easily. And also, we should ship some population out of here. Like, this is totally worth doing. So we'll spend a moment here building up these industrial zones, and then hopefully that'll take more time off of the research park than we added to it by putting other stuff in the queue in front of it. And also, it'll be good for everything we have to build afterward that we completed that. Alright, well, I am inclined to continue to throw my weight. We should probably go ecologist here, because I really would love to keep the religious out. I know we have some pacifist political opinion that we gained recently. Let's hope that we can stay pacifist ecologist. That would be my ideal government for the moment. I think the militarists are already creeping in a pretty serious way, though. I can't tell... I think the militarist bar is greater than the ecologist one. Yep, it sure is. That sucks. We were using an ecologist law. Well, our whole government's all screwed up now. Let's go have a look at it. Should probably also turn off auto display on those. Okay. So the law we have here is still populations diversity is money. And then we now have access to lower fleet costs, minus 20% ship production cost. Honestly, a law that we probably will run, at least a little bit. We are no longer at peace with anybody, so this doesn't do anything. Plus 20% dust output per luxury deposit on systems is significant for us. It's 171 influence per turn to run this, which we don't quite have at the moment. But we have a large enough bank that we could run it for a little while we figure it out. Oh, it's also going to be 86 just to pass it initially. Whatever, we'll get there. We could just build one more Temple of the Lost somewhere and that would solve it. Okay. What do we want here? I kind of want supermarkets. Let's see, we should probably move people off of the temple world for the moment. Focus on actual productivity here. And at this point, sustainable farms make a lot of sense. System's not a terribly happy place, but we'll get there. You need to go this way. We gotta figure out where the hell the Sophons even are. Alright, I think let's finish exploring the constellation. I know there's a wormhole over here. We can mess with that in a little bit. I want to see if there are any more minor factions for us to talk to around here, though. What is this? This is a logistics fleet headed for Kochab. Ah, but Kochab turned into a colony before it got here, and also the system is under siege. I mean, it seems like we don't even have a normal diplomatic standing with these guys, so I'm going to attack their ship to get them to leave. I think this won't harm us. I mean, obviously the ship itself is completely irrelevant. I just need it to go away.
Which part of you to crush
Okay. This action generates reparations with the Academy.
Why would I speak to an enemy?
I will do that.
Unwilling generosity is appreciated.
Okay. So we can do stuff to the Academy and then just pay off the damages. That's actually pretty great for us. We are in a good position to pay off minor costs. Alright, Dill was hacked. So, what do we want to do to these Hisha? We could create a backdoor, as we have in the past. We could embed a sleeper. One population unit on Dill will become a sleeper agent for us. They'll give us vision of the system, and we'll get some portion of the resources that they generate. We could mess with their politics, try to get different parties in charge. If their system had a hero, a governor, we could try to kill him. Or we could screw with their commands. This makes them have to use a really, really bad ground battle tactic. This is a thing you sometimes want to do right before you invade. I think in the situation we're in, embed sleeper makes the most sense. So we're just going to basically use social media to convince one of the people in this nation to work against the nation's interests, which it turns out is a real thing you can actually do. So what we know is they have 2 small warships in the hangar here. 259 attack, 125 defense makes them a lot more powerful than our current small ships. But on the whole, this is not a very powerful system. It doesn't have a lot of production capability, so they're unlikely to be able to launch anything real from here. The big concern, of course, would be that they're building warships elsewhere, and that they intend to send them to us via Dill, using Dill as a conduit. What are my ships looking like, numbers-wise? 72 attack, 173 defense, and then the ones we actually built are 102, 158. Yeah. We could spend a lot of time in the military quadrant researching better weapons tech, and we will, because we have to for a quest. But it is still the case that by far the most effective thing we could do is just learn how to build our own medium-sized ships. So hopefully we will, and soon. Also, IMEX has become a pirate base. That's a shame. And it's too powerful probably for us to take it on with our weak little ships, the kinds of ships we have at the moment. So yeah. Better warships. That's really all that we are focused on at the moment. Sorry, we have a lot of other stuff to focus on, but like that's the thing we need to start focusing on, I mean. I am inclined to send out more hack, honestly. So that trace operation, I don't know if it's still... Oh, I'm tracing them. We caught them trying to hack us. Let's run another hack out to Dill. Maybe this time to install a backdoor, now that we know a little bit more about the system. Then we could use that to start putting pressure on Pollux. Okay, things are advancing. We are advancing our cause in a bunch of different ways, in a bunch of different places, but for real, we gotta get on the warship train. So, like, after we get wave function control, it's pretty important that we get commercial frameworks. Extreme atmospherics is maybe not quite as vital. We'll get there. But, like, I'm thinking, make me some medium-sized, extremely cool-looking attack ships, and we put that here? That's still a lot of turns. I was thinking it might be time to reassign some of our relics, but I think we need to keep all of our relics in science mode right now. Yeah, our relics are responsible for a huge percentage of our total Empire science still. And we've seen a couple of places that we could get more. I will say, we're going to play another game as the Nakalim right after we complete this one, because I very much want to try to take advantage of our knowledge to create a more effective starting position. Or a more effective early game, and getting to that quest that gives you 6 relics is going to be like #1 top priority. So this is the ship we're supposed to intercept. I'm assuming that what's going to happen here is it's going to leave Virac before the end of the turn. I'm hoping that it just goes back to Takal. Okay. Lots of people are being born in our empire all of the time, so there's some pre-galactic markers. We've assimilated some guys.
For desperate times.
They're having a war, and it's not working for them. Who are they at war with? Swap me into here. Okay, they're not doing so well with the Sophons, which gives us some idea. No, maybe it doesn't. That's what I was going to use that scout for. I was going to bring it down to Wasat and try to figure out where the Lumeris ship came from. That's right. I was going to say, them being at war with the Sophons gives us some idea where the Sophons are, but it really doesn't, since we suspect the Lumeris are not even on our constellation. Okay, Dobrinya is not inhabited yet. Oh, well, this is bad. Yep, we immediately got attacked. Ended up right on top of an enemy fleet.
In the name of the heart and of harmony, the unfallen greet you.
Enemy fleet is maybe too strong. We ended up on top of another player's fleet. I'm a little surprised that these guys attacked us right away on account of their thing about being harmonious and everything. But, yeah, we will run away, because we certainly will not survive a fight. We may not survive a retreat, either. Oh, I am allowed to... Okay, I thought you were not allowed to retreat via wormholes. Yeah, if we had to run this way, it's entirely possible we'd just be running into more Unfallen. Your scientists have detected a heavily damaged ship of unknown design entering your home system. The ship is unresponsive to hails, and sensors have detected that the engines are in critical overload and it will soon self-destruct. Scanning the ship, you discover that it contains not only a dense computer core containing untold secrets, but also passengers in stasis who have been infected by an unknown plague. Not ideal. You can only save the core or the passengers before the ship explodes. So in the system, Jane, get production up to 177, and then either food or science up as well. What are we likely to be able to do here? Well, I mean, we're working on the science thing right now, and we don't have any food buildings left. The food output here is probably about as good as it's ever getting. So why don't we take the science version of this? I do feel a little bit bad about it, but we'll save the computer core. Listen, they have some kind of plague. they may well be beyond saving. That's how I'm choosing to think of it. Okay, this is a Lumeris ship. I have no interest in attacking them. I'm going to take you guys to get... Yeah, you know what? Fly over here. Help me corral this dude. And what do we want to do on Ying? Predictive logistics is pretty good in a place where we already have 3 planets colonized. So that is maybe the thing. We have 12 population here already as well, so like epigenetic crop seeding is actually pretty good. As is intensive cultivation logistics, because we do have 2 luxury deposits, but let's get predictive logistics down as quickly as we can. And then somewhere we need to start thinking about a temple, right? Where would we want to build a temple? I guess the best place to build a temple would be a planet whose output is primarily science. So if we end up on a lot of cold worlds, or like Esh 2 would make a great Temple of the Lost, because it's just not a very good world otherwise. So what if we colonize this right now? Build a Temple of the Lost there. I mean, we're going to have to build drone networks and stuff. There's a lot of stuff to be done. We build a Temple of the Lost there. We feed some of the... we move some of Esh's population over to the temple. We can get this under control, and then we can figure out the rest of the stuff with that system later. Make it actually functional for us. Well, I guess what we could do is just fly over here and use this wormhole. Okay, we're totally going to get to 50 with these guys. We are 7 buildings off of having that completed. And I'm still working on this kidnapper thing. It's not going ideally. The word intercept here may mechanically mean catch it with the guard action. Okay, so yeah, it has run off down there. So what I'm going to do is pursue it. We move almost as fast as it does, it looks like, so I might be able to actually get to Tikal before it if I'm mashing the move button fast enough. Like, get there on the turn that it will get there, we get there as well. And then we'll have these guys arrive at Virak and wait there in defense mode, and it will have nowhere to go. There will be no escape.
What is on your mind today?
Okay, he's mad at me on account of... I don't even know what. Oh, interesting. So she wants an alliance. She wants to go, like, real hard on our diplomatic relationship because she needs somebody to help convince the Sophons to back down. Honestly, this might be worth taking. An early alliance with a player who is likely to have a strong economy, if we're thinking about pushing for an economic victory, is definitely a thing worth considering. It would immediately put us at war with the Sophons, and the Sophons know where we are, and we don't know where they are. That's a definite disadvantage. I'm not saying that that's ideal, but I'm going to think about this. I think actually what we'll do here is we'll call it here for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Okay, it looked like that hitched a little bit, but it's running. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time to see exactly how deep of a hole we want to dig ourselves. Listen, once we get our actual military online, I'm confident we can handle the AI. I don't want this to sound like I'm being like, oh, I'm so great at the game, but like, the AI in this game is pretty bad at war. So I think we can fight 2 AIs pretty easily once we have our medium ships. So it may be worth digging what looks like a grave for ourselves. We'll see. And we'll see you then.